make a narrative as if like I'm scared of. I think Devin's a tremendous fighter. Do I think Devin Haney can beat me? Hell no. Hell no.
Yeah.
For me personally, I'm on a different level than everybody.
Yeah.
And when it comes down to boxing, because Devin, he's a boxer.
It's on him. You know what I mean? It's on him. He knows that he's going to get this fade sooner or later. So it's only a matter of time. Obviously, we can't go down. You know, we can't go down to 135. So, you know, he would have to come up. And, you know, he can get this work anytime. He ready.
I see greatness, man. I see greatness. Shakur practically beat him with one hand, man. That jab, man. Most important hand you have, man. You know? And he looked good doing it, sharp. You know what I mean? Distance. He did everything, man.
Reports suggest Shakur Stevenson is preparing to meet Devin Haney at 40 pounds, agreeing to rehydration clauses while maintaining unwavering belief that his abilities eclipse those of any potential opponent.
And I told all of these guys, if y'all want me to come to 147, I'm coming in with rehydration clauses.
Devin Haney expresses puzzlement about weight class discussions, questioning why he would move up if not planning to compete there, while firmly declaring his intention to make the Stevenson bout a reality through sheer determination and genuine desire for this matchup.
Core still at 135. You can't, you know, say your name without saying Shakur Teofimo Tank, right? It just is what it is. Is that fight going to ever happen? Would it ever happen against you and Shakur?
100%, yeah. I think so. I think it,
you think Shakur will grow into whatever weight
yeah,
you're
I mean, we're all of us is close to the same size. You know, we're all growing together. We're all like, you know, getting bigger. Well, so, and it's only so many guys, like y'all said, it's only so many guys that we could make big money and people want to see the fights. Which even though I know that they making new guys, it's guys like Kermel, Abdullah, all these guys want to come up too. So eventually they gonna be there too. But yeah, no, I think that a fight with Shakur is very much possible. Which we tried to make happen a while back.
Stevenson dismisses any notion of fearing Haney, though he suggests Haney's camp might fabricate stories about him ducking the confrontation.
You mentioned Devin Haney.
Okay.
Devin Haney's probably, to me, that's, yeah, I don't think it's hit its point yet, but I think in the next year or two, it'll hit a point where it's like the world is gonna demand, you know what I'm saying? I can see the trajectory feels like it could meet like that.
I would love this fight. But look, you gotta watch what you say with like, and this is not even Devin fault, cause Devin is very respectful of my game and I'm respectful of his game. He's a good fighter. But his fans will clip and twist and turn things into something that is not. So I try to be real careful on what I say.
True. This is guy Jay on Twitter. He a big Haney fan. He be always clipping and changing stuff, Jay.
Yeah, they gonna make a narrative as if like I'm scared of. I think Devin's a tremendous fighter. Do I think Devin Haney can beat me? Hell no.
Confidence radiates from Stevenson as he positions himself as untouchable, claiming no boxer possesses the tools to defeat him, and specifically noting Haney lacks knockout power against him.
It's not like he's a fucking stone cold killer who's just gonna go in there and try to knock me the fuck out.
Yeah.
He's gonna try to outbox me. I'm the greatest boxer. How do you... So that's how I feel about the fight.
Yeah.
But it all gotta make sense from a business standpoint. I don't like getting up here and negotiating against myself.
Sure.
And,
for sure.
But for me, I'm willing to
But do you
make the
see
fight
it
happen.
as it being that could, you know, like we always said, the Four Kings, even though you wasn't a part of it, the whole plot is like at the end of the road, there's gonna be two guys left standing, and that's the big fight. Do you see that as that's potentially what that could be?
I'm a bad motherfucker.
Yeah.
Haney's motivation centers on proving his elite status by securing battles against premier talents like Stevenson, viewing such contests as essential to cementing his legacy, with questions arising about potential moves to 140 if current negotiations stall.
Yeah, you know, if I can't get those fights next, or it doesn't make sense for it to be next, I'll probably go to 140, test it out, see how I feel at the weight at 140, and then when the time is right, then, you know, I'll defend my belt at 135. We'll just see, though. I got to go back and talk with the team and see what makes the most sense. That's really all it.
Bill Haney establishes firm boundaries regarding weight concessions, declaring opponents must ascend to 140 pounds if they want the fight, with no downward movement from their side.
Why he didn't become undisputed yet. They didn't mention the franchise, though, which directly impacted Devin's career early on, right? And it seemed like, I was saying this on my live earlier, you tell me what you think about this, but it seems to me like there's a lot of people that have tried to block y'all ambition, right? Between you signed to the wrong company, you know, Loma not taking the Devin fight, Tio not taking the Devin fight, Rolly saying he just don't want to fight Devin. Do you see that? Like, how do you see that? You know, as far as like, people know you're ambitious, they know you want to be unified, they know you want to be undisputed, so they put all these obstacles up and they make it hard for you to achieve what you're trying to achieve.
Absolutely. I think it's been historic in the way that they've done it.
The elder Haney confirms their readiness to compete whenever challengers decide to step up.
So we must keep our composure and our patience and understand that it's part of the process when you're that good. You know what I mean? We can't say it any other way. You know, they're running out of narratives. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, it's what the people want to see. We don't never say, okay, you know, well, this guy has done something wrong or he did bad business. So, you know, we'll never do it. Obviously, you know, when we go through negotiations and we spend time in there, whether it's put something together for Richard Hitchinson, for him to come back later and to say, you know, yeah, I want that fight. Well, when we were trying to make the fight, we couldn't. You didn't want to negotiate. You went somewhere else. When we were negotiating with Shakur Stevenson, instead of him negotiating with us, he said that he's going to go somewhere else.
Tim Bradley sees extraordinary potential in Stevenson, suggesting he could surpass even Terence Crawford's historical impact, acknowledging Crawford's Mount Rushmore status as a 5-division champion, while believing Stevenson possesses similar transcendent abilities, noting this isn't about matching Crawford's undisputed achievements, but capitalizing on opportunities that political barriers denied Crawford. Imagining how earlier access to fights against Thurman, Garcia, Spence, and Ugas could have elevated Crawford's profile even higher.
But I feel like Shakur, just like Crawford was with me, Shakur has the ability to pass Terence Crawford. Listen up. Now, not in the sense of becoming 3-time undisputed and, you know, going up to, you know, that many weight classes. Not from that standpoint. You know, he already has 4 weight classes. Crawford is a 5-weight division champion. But in a sense of having the opportunities that Crawford didn't have. You know, Crawford would have been even bigger than what he is if the politics didn't play into the sport at the time. And now that, you know, you have guys like Turki Al-Sheikh that are able to bridge that gap between promoters and, you know, make these big fights happen.
Stevenson enters boxing during a golden era where elite competition at 30-35 pounds remains accessible, creating pathways to consistent high-level opposition, including Haney, Roach, Foster, Russell Jr., Smith, Garcia, and others, with Bradley emphasizing Stevenson's capability not just to coup with, but defeat these fighters, potentially building a legacy surpassing Crawford's influence and accomplishments.
Turki was around when Crawford was on his climb. You know, when Crawford couldn't get those big fights with like Thurman and Danny Garcia and Ugas and, you know, he got it later with Sean Porter, but it was later. But imagine if Crawford was able to have that run and, you know, Earl Spence, Danny Garcia, Ugas, Keith Thurman, you know, the list goes on. If he would have had all those guys on his ledger, imagine how big Crawford would be. He would be even bigger than what he is today. You know, bigger than what he is today. So with that being said, you know, with these fighters hovering around 135, these talented fighters, hovering around 135, 130. Guys like, Oshaki Foster, like I mentioned, going to go up to 135. He's big enough to go to 135.
Major obstacles exist, yet watching both fighters compete reveals their near invincibility outside of foul play, with their ongoing exchanges highlighting elite-level dynamics. Recalling early discussions of a Four Kings 2.0 featuring Haney, Garcia, Lopez, and Davis, paralleling the legendary Hagler, Hearns, Leonard, and Duran era.
Is Devin Haney going to concede to that? I doubt it. So there's a major obstacle in the way. But nonetheless, as you watch these two fighters fight, you can clearly see, outside of cheating, they're more than likely not going to lose, right? With that said, Devin Haney immediately responds to Shakur. Shakur responds to Devin, right? Again, we had the initial Four Kings. It was Devin, Ryan, T.O., and Tank Davis, right? It was supposed to be the Four Kings 2.0 from the Marvin Hagler, Tommy Hearns, Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran.
Wilfred Benitez often gets forgotten, despite defeating Duran, who struggled against multiple original Four Kings members, beating Leonard once, while suffering devastating losses to Hearns and Hagler, plus Benitez. Yet Benitez remains overshadowed similarly to how Haney, Garcia, and Lopez previously overshadowed Stevenson, though Stevenson emerged prominently after dominating Lopez, while Tank Davis's legal troubles and fight avoidance reshape modern boxing landscapes.
We had that Four King era, but nobody mentions Wilfred Benitez. And the fact remains is Wilfred Benitez beat Roberto Duran as well. And Roberto Duran is 1-4 against those guys. He beat Sugar Ray Leonard the first time. Outside of that, Roberto Duran, he lost to he quit against Sugar Ray Leonard. He got knocked out brutally by Tommy Hearns. He got outboxed by Marvin Hagler and outclassed by Wilfred Benitez. Right? But he's overshadowing Wilfred Benitez. And I felt like these guys, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, Tank, and T.O., overshadowed Shakur Stevenson. And now Shakur Stevenson has shined the light by dominating Teofimo Lopez.
Bernie Thoughtboxer analyzes the Stevenson-Haney matchup by examining their credentials, noting Stevenson's status as four-weight world champion, two-time linear titleist, Ring magazine holder, and unified champion at 30 pounds following his victory over elite opposition, like Lopez, who consistently performs when it matters.
The ring, they talk, have some words, but Shakur Stevenson said, I want to put that same rehydration clause you put on Chris Eubank. Tell me, what did you get out of that moment in the ring?
Well, I heard on the press conference where I think it was his manager said that, that was a clown move, but I think Shakur invited that, I don't even know if I would have said all that about Conor being right then, but I think he really wants that fight. He really wants the money for the fight. He been saying that, and now he came through victorious. I think he really wants that money for that fight. He wants the money for the fight.
Haney brings three-weight championship experience and former undisputed status to the table, with Bernie urging Stevenson to engage without hesitation, emphasizing that defeating Prime Haney would eliminate excuses while earning maximum credit for a career-defining triumph that would establish Stevenson among generational elites through demonstrated skill, resolve, and championship-caliber performance.
Legacy fights, accomplishments, because now Shakur is a four-weight world champion. Devin is a three-weight world champion. Devin was undisputed, but now Shakur is a two-time lineal champion. So he's a two-time Ring magazine winner. Two-time unified champion. If you want to add the ring, as far as with the WBO, he was unified at 130. So he's a two-time unified champion, two-time lineal champion. Beat a guy like Teofimo Lopez, who rises to the occasion. Had a close fight with George Kambosos. You can make a claim that he was fighting out of frustration or out of emotion, and that was it. He was in his prime too, Josh Taylor seemed to be drained at 140, Not taking away from Devin, but he was already moving up to 47, they were saying. Lomachenko was a little older and smaller.
Stevenson's masterful dismantling of Lopez draws praise from Bozy Ennis, who marvels at the dominance achieved despite fighting essentially one-handed, highlighting Stevenson's razor-sharp jab and flawless distance control that made every calculated movement devastatingly effective, reducing the experienced and athletic Lopez to amateur-level struggles while silencing critics who questioned his resume quality.
What I see greatness, man. I see greatness. Shakur practically beat him with one hand, man. That jab, man. Most important hand you have, man. You know? And he looked good doing it, sharp. You know what I mean? Distance. He did everything, man. He did everything right, man.
A lot of people thought it would be a tough fight because Teal's athletic, Teal's experienced, he's fought on a high level. And, they were critical of Shakur. Oh, he ain't fought nobody and this and that.
Yeah.
He made Teal look like everybody else.
Made him look like an amateur. He looked like an amateur. Yes.
Now, technically, what did you see, right? Where did Teal go wrong in that fight?
Where he did what wrong?
Yeah.
Fighting Shakur. That's where he went wrong. Fighting Shakur. I knew he just running his mouth. He just was talking, man. I knew that from the beginning, even the time when he talking about.
Despite nursing a left-hand injury, Stevenson maintained complete control through relentless jabbing and selective left-hand usage, with Bozy noting potential stoppage capability managed intelligently throughout the bout, showcasing not just technical excellence, but ring intelligence and composure that created a Philadelphia masterclass, proving greatness transcends perfect conditions through skill, courage, and laser focus.
Oh yeah. Shakur, no, you could have got stoppage too, but Shakur hurt his left hand. His left hand was hurt. If you notice, he was using that jab a lot.
Yeah, jab and then the hook.
And he threw the left hand every now and then. Because I was screaming out. Everybody said they heard me in Philly.
Yo, we can hear you on the TV.
Yeah, that's my young buck. You know what I mean? And I was telling him, throw that straight left hand. Then I noticed when he did throw it, he wasn't throwing it real hard. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But he looked spectacular, man. You know what I mean? You can't ask for nothing more, man. And with me, I don't care about what people say, man. They always want to talk about you and say, oh, he should have did this, should have did that. He did everything that he was supposed to do, and he did it right.
The anticipated Stevenson-Haney collision captivates boxing enthusiasts who recognize the exceptional talent, speed, and determination both fighters possess, creating unpredictable and intense possibilities where Stevenson's technical mastery collides with Haney's athleticism and power in an electric atmosphere that could define both careers through a potentially historic encounter.
Only fight that even remotely sparks my interest for Shakur Stevenson is this guy right here, Devin Haney. Look at them, they're the same size. Obviously, Devin's moved up to 147. Shakur demands a catch weight. We'll see if Devin goes for the bait, because I think Shakur Stevenson, there's no doubt about it, he has the skills to compete at 147, to be 5 weight division champion. I feel like that would be crazy.
Today's coverage concludes here, with more boxing analysis coming in future content.